Hi, I'm John Vorperian, and welcome to Beyond the Game. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the beautiful game. Concordia College men's soccer. They got to the postseason, but just missed it. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome into the studio Concordia College head coach Sean Kenny. He is a Dublin native who was a player at Keene State, as well as a coach with a number of other colleges. In fact, he got his career started at Bronxville and Concordia, and he's back. So without further ado, Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me.
So you started at Concordia, and here it is. After so many years, they brought you back this season, and you guys got pretty close.
Yeah, we did well. I have to say, I inherited a pretty good team that hadn't been so successful, and with a little professionalism and a little effort, we got to the postseason for the first time since I think the year 2000. So yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I'll tell you, overall, I believe you guys were playing at least 500 ball or better.
Yeah, we went on a great streak. We were unbeaten, I think, in 8 games at one time. We got a terrible start. We were 1-5, and we didn't look back after that. We rattled off 5-6 wins in a row. Managed to climb the conference, which is pretty hard to do considering we were in the basement of the conference for the last few years, and we ended up 5th in a 12-team conference.
Yeah.
So.
Can you tell us your lineup? Who did you look to for support? And
you know, I think it's a whole team effort, but I did have 2 very special players. Ovan Oakley, who he's a kid from Jamaica, and he was scoring goals for fun, and ended up being the leading goal scorer in the conference. And we had great leadership in midfield from a couple of the veterans, and it just kind of worked out. And as the season went on, we got fitter, we got better, and we just fell short right at the death.
Now, is Concordia College your typical men's soccer team? Because I took a look at the roster, and you mentioned a gent from Jamaica. You had also some other players from the Caribbean.
We have a huge Caribbean influence, although some of them like to think they're from the Caribbean, but they're born in Brooklyn or they grew up in Mount Vernon, and they claim I'm Jamaican, or I'm from St. Kitts. But we have a lot of fun with that. But they're great kids, they're great soccer players, and they've been nothing but professional for me.
Yeah. And you had a few from Germany, Netherlands, Spain.
I've one boy from Germany who is a New Jersey guy, and we have 3 guys from Spain, but they're legit from Spain. Okay. They can barely speak English, and they do well at school. So, and they're very good soccer players, very good players.
Well, now tell me, in looking back at the year, is there one particular game that when viewers go to ConcordiaClippers.com that they should perhaps take a look at the box score or the stats? Something was a warm and fuzzy feeling game.
Yeah, we played. The best team in the conference was Post College, which is only up the road here in Connecticut. At the time, I think they went to ranked number 2 in the country. They've been in the top 10 in the country for nearly the whole season, and we went there, and I knew our team was decent. I just didn't know how far away we were from the best team, one of the best teams in the country. And it was 0-0 right after 90 minutes, and we gave as good as we got. And with 3 minutes to go in overtime, they scored and beat us 1-0. And it was a heartbreak for us, and to watch our boys being upset over, not getting a result. I thought that kind of turned our season around. No, we had come a long way after that game, to the fact that we could play with one of the best teams in the country.
Well, you've done a great deal with Concordia, and it's amazing what you did this season. Let's perhaps take a look at the incoming season or next year. What are your plans?
Yeah, next year, not that I'm getting away from the foreign influence. I never turn my back on a good player, but there's a couple of boys coming in from Yonkers, a couple of boys coming in from New Rochelle, so there'll be a more local flavor to Concordia College soccer team next year. Through my contacts in youth soccer and just guys that I've grown up in the area. There's a lot of talent in this area, and if I can keep them from leaving and keep them home a little bit more, I think you'll see the face of Concordia soccer changing geographically.
Well, I notice your goalkeeper is now a sophomore, and I guess he'll be returning as a...
He'll be a junior, and again, he's a kid from Jamaica. He's a leader. He's good in school. You know, everybody likes him. He's professional. He's everything you want, and I'm lucky enough that I have him for the next 2 years, and an all-conference guy, So he's a very, very good player.
Now, Beyond the Game is beamed into the village of Scarsdale, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, aside from Concordia, there's another hat you wear.
Yeah, well, I've been involved in youth soccer for a long, long time. I've been lucky to, a fellow by the name of Mark Sylvester brought me into Scarsdale, and I coached on and off boys under 12s, under 13s, under 14s. I was director of coaching for a couple of years. And the current president, Dan Karp, you know, won't let me leave. So now I coach little guys, you know, U8s, U9s, and, you know, I have a lot of fun. It keeps me young, and that's what I do kind of in the off-season.
What do you do with regards to, let's say, youth players in that bracket of 9 to 12? What is some of the key things that you try and convey?
I'm a big believer in just making sure that they enjoy the game. You know, a lot of coaches want to show what, you know, all the knowledge that they have and try and give it to a 9-year-old kid in one practice session. I let them play. I let them figure it out for themselves. You know, we kind of take away the winning aspect of it and just let them have fun. And you know, if a kid wants more at the end of a practice, now I know I've got you, and now I know I've given you that love of the game. And if they're playing without coaching, just like street kids would play basketball, if I can get them to play soccer, I've done my job.
I remember growing up in Scarsdale and playing soccer, and I just remember a lot of running and oranges at the end of practice. Is that the way?
No.
Oh my goodness.
The game has changed dramatically as you know, and I've played for coaches that, you know, didn't have a clue. You just go out and do 50 laps. There you go. There's your practice session. But no, the game is far more technical now. There's more balls involved. Before it was one ball for the whole team. Now it's every player has a ball, and players become more skillful, and now the fields are better. We've brand new AstroTurf fields. We've you know, the whole facilities has changed in the area, and soccer has just become bigger and better for the most part.
With Concordia, you began your coaching career there, and you moved that program out of the NAIA sphere of influence and into the NCAA. Can you tell us
I don't
a little bit
know how.
about that?
I was a young guy that kind of didn't have a clue.
You're a young guy now.
Thank you. But no, you know, they were good enough to give me a start, and it's the old does the can't play coach. So I was kind of winding down my playing career and started coaching, got involved, liked it. Concordia gave me the start, and we did well. We did very, very well. For a very small school, playing a very, very tough soccer schedule, we did very well. And I stayed there for 8 years. I was married during my time there. My kids were born down the street from Concordia. I still live there now. And I've always had a great affection for the school and the program. And they've struggled a little bit in the last few years. And Yvonne was good enough to kind of drag me back and allow me to start all over again. So it's been good.
Yeah, one of the more progressive athletic directors in the NCAA, Ivan Marquez.
Yep. He's my boss, so I can't say anything bad about him.
He was mine too at one time. But the thing about Concordia is we should highlight, we mentioned Post, just some of the other schools that you have to compete against. So let's highlight the circuit, the conference.
The conference has, I think we have 3 teams ranked in the top 20. We you know, Post, Wilmington, and Philly University. And then we also played LIU Post, which used to be CW Post. We played them on the island. And we played them when they were ranked actually #1 in the country. They beat us, I have to say they beat us and beat us well. But you know, that's the caliber of, that's the bar where we're trying to go to. So we're not afraid to play these guys. We're just not there yet, but we're very, very close.
Now, Well, Sean, you mentioned a couple of schools. I'm not going to focus on them other than to say that they're ranked there, but the thing to keep in mind is their men's soccer coach also holds the title, I believe I recognize one, is also the athletic director there. So I guess that turns us to the idea of recruiting at the D2 level. Do you have scholarship?
No, I think, yes, we do have scholarship. But like I say, it's a very small school. We're competing against, far larger schools than we are. But we do a good job. I have the full support of the athletic program. We have a soccer field, a nice soccer field that's getting upgraded in the next couple of years. Hopefully we'll have brand new AstroTurf. If we get permission from Bronxville, we'll have floodlights. And we hope to turn it into a nice little stadium. And, the whole program will change because of that. But every college coach will tell you, in any sport, it's not so much the coaching as it is about the recruiting. And like any sport, the teams with the best players are the best teams. And that's kind of my philosophy too. If I can go out and get some good players, we do all right. We do.
Yeah. There's always the possibility of a walk-on. There's always the possibility of someone thinking, maybe I can get some.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I will never turn a kid away. I have to watch you play, and if a kid says, and we do have that. We started our pre-season, and then boys come in, to go to school, and then realize, oh wow, there's a soccer team. Can I try out? And I'll never turn them away. I'll definitely have a look at them.
What is your take on a student athlete who may be playing another sport like baseball to look at soccer?
Again, we've had that over Concordia. We've had great tennis players that were soccer players. We had a kid play basketball who was a great soccer player. It's getting more and more difficult right now as the seasons extend, and now we can play in the spring, and it's tough. It's very, very tough to be a two-sport athlete. It can be done. It definitely can be done, but it takes a special kind of person to do that.
Video, there are folks that send in video. Are there any rules that viewers should be aware of if they're going to promote their...
Yeah, there's a few horror stories. We had a video at St. John's of a kid who was playing in an over-40s men's pickup game, and he was like this 17-year-old kid running around these old men, and we were like, we still don't know if you're any good, so keep them short. Coaches love video. They will watch it. Make sure we know who we're watching.
Right.
Make sure his jersey number, and I know I've seen video now where there's actually an arrow over the kid as he runs. But don't send a game tape. Just focus in on yourself. And 2 minutes is probably plenty of time for a video for a coach to look at.
All right, that's key because I've been there. That's right, 2 minutes now. Just 2 minutes and highlight yourself.
It's like email. I'll only read 2 lines. I won't read 2 pages.
Well, with regards to social media, or you can text a potential student.
Yes, texting is kind of the cheater for a college kid or a college coach. That you can kind of text back and forth, unlimited. Contact, phone contacts, physical contact, visits to the school, all that sort of stuff has to be logged, and it's very, very strict. And the rule book is this thick, and even I don't understand the rules and regulations, and you got to be very careful. But texting is probably the easiest way to go.
Now, as a player, you started, I guess, at WCC, or
yeah, nice to have someone talk about my playing career.
Yeah, all right, here we go. That's what I brought you in here for. Sure.
WCC, I was good enough to. The coach then, John Jasnicek, was good enough to kind of take me under his wing. I lived in his house. I played for them, and then I went off and played for Keene State College, where I absolutely loved it.
So, well, but of course, you were All-American.
All-American, foreign guy. Yeah. I'm in the middle of New Hampshire. It was great.
Well, I mentioned earlier that you're from Dublin.
Yeah.
So here we are in New York, and the question people ask, whether it's baseball, are you a Yankee or Mets fan? If it's basketball, are you Knicks or Nets? If you're into football, Giants or Jets? So I guess the question for you, as a soccer aficionado, is it the Rovers or the Shamrock Rovers
Yeah,
or the Bohemians?
No,
you know,
well, actually, Bohemians are my local team because that's where I grew up. But
Oh.
my father always supported Shamrock Rovers, and I two brothers are kind of legends that had played for Shamrock Rovers. I myself tried to play and wasn't quite good enough. So, no, I'm a Shamrock Rovers guy, I have to say. Yeah.
Well, just curious. So when we go,
And a,
so
and a Yankee guy, only because my in-laws are Mets fans.
Okay.
That's-
Okay, Yankees, but the Shamrock Rovers. So you've got bloodlines into
Yeah,
the Celtic. Now that's the premier.
Celtic are in Scotland. Rovers are, you know.
Yeah.
I wish we were Celtic, but we're not quite that big. So.
Okay. Wow. What position? Now you were primarily. What position did you play?
I played midfield in college. I was left-footed also, so sometimes I played on the left wing, and I like to think I was pretty fast. So yeah, no, I can play anywhere. And those are the kids I like too. The kids that say, "No, coach, just as long as I'm on the field, I can play."
How are great soccer teams built? What's the key to?
It's a combination of everything. It's athleticism, it's skill, it's passion, it's you know, and the coach trying to gel all those factors. I think in youth soccer, you're trying to teach and you're trying to get them more technical and get them to understand the game. At the college level, it's you know, and I've been out of the college game for a little while, coaching little younger kids. The college game is a little more man management and trying to get each player to play to his best ability within the team, and that can be difficult. That can be tough for a coach, but at Concordia it's working right now. So,
is there a particular coach that you had that when you talk to your charges at Concordia, a little voice goes off in the back, hey, I just sound like...
Absolutely. The current coach at St. John's University, Dave Mazer, you know, I was his assistant for many years, and I just learned so much from him, from his team talks and his quoting old movies that, you know, I had to look at. He was great. He was great, and his professionalism, his style, his eye for good players, his enthusiasm, his passion for the game. I think a lot of him has rubbed off on me, so I credit him.
Is there a particular film or soccer cinema experience that comes to mind and say, yeah, I think I'm going to put that on
There's hundreds of quotes from Winston Churchill and Patton and all these guys, and then the movies, Rob Roy and that sort of stuff. But no, at the end, you still have to be a good player. I can make you passionate and I can make you enthusiastic and wanting to win, but deep down inside, you still have to be talented.
Now, there is another sport that you played, and I view it as another sport, but you were a Dallas sidekick, so you were in the major...
I don't think anyone knows that. I don't know where you're getting this stuff.
What do you mean? I read everything. No, but major indoor professional soccer, I believe it's...
you know, I was there for a week nearly. That's what I say. I didn't like it at all. That was the old MISL, which was the major indoor soccer league. Soccer wasn't so big, and when I got out of college, there was no MLS. There was no route for a player to go professional, and this was kind of a quick fix. And you basically played in ice hockey arenas.
Right.
You jumped over the boards. You ran like mad for 5 minutes. Coach took you off, and like a hockey line, another wave came on and ran like mad. And I didn't like it at all. It wasn't my idea of soccer, and you know, but it helped pay the bills for a little while, and I did the job.
Wow. So it was played in a rink. Essentially,
it's still basically. I think there are still some teams out there.
There are, but I just was curious about that because to go from, you know, full grass pitch.
Yeah, all it was basically they laid it, and back then you're talking, you know, the early 1980s. There was not like the beautiful AstroTurf there is today. It was just a carpet laid on top of ice and freezing, and it was mayhem. It was mayhem. Little goals and 7 players on the field at a time, and it wasn't soccer. It definitely was not soccer.
If you had the opportunity to, you know, be commissioner for a day or the rule maker for a day, is there anything that you would add or take away from the game?
No, I really, I have a tough time, and I see it in Scarsdale all the time, you know, where we have a huge youth program. We have, I don't know what, they have like 1,500 kids playing soccer in Scarsdale, but then as kids get 12 and 13 years of age, the dropout is tremendous, and whether it's not really through other sports, it's just not playing or not wanting to play, and I don't know if coaches are turning them off, or the pressure of school, or their parents, or the parents lose interest, but I'd love to know the reason why, and I just, you know, I always say, if I'm coaching you at 11, my greatest achievement is to have you playing when you're 35 years old and still playing, and there are some guys that like that, but for the most part, the drop-off is tremendous.
Well, perhaps for American culture, it seems that Americans love points. They love run up the score. I want to see a ton of points. With regards to soccer, I know that at one point the shootout was added.
Yeah, they make all these quirky rules, and again, I think it was for the benefit of the ignorant American soccer fan. Yeah. But fans are far more educated now, and if you look at youth soccer today, you know, years ago the coaches were, I tried football, I didn't make, you know, I played football, I played baseball, these were the dads coaching. But even in Scarsdale, you'll find, no, that dad bringing his kid to practice, no, that dad played college soccer or plays club soccer or grew up playing soccer. So there's a new breed now of American soccer kids, for the better, definitely for the better, and a more educated soccer fan.
World Cup.
Well, Ireland aren't in it, so well, I've always supported the US. I think
no, that's okay.
They're going in the right direction, and you know, we have Jurgen Klinsmann at the helm. Doesn't get much better than that. So, and they've got some good players coming up through the system. I don't know if I'm not going to say they'll win the World Cup, but they certainly won't let you down.
Yeah. You know, we should go into another direction, which you were a key part of, because when you first started at Concordia, I believe you are credited with actually bringing into that school the women's soccer program.
Yes,
so let's,
it was just something that I sat down with the AD at the time, and we discussed, you know, more sports and kind of pushing the soccer program, and what better way than to bring in women's soccer. And we've been a disaster for the first couple of years, but we've slowly steadied the ship, and I think our current women's soccer coach right now is doing a fantastic job, and I think you'll see big changes there next year for women's soccer. So I'm not going to take the credit for bringing women's soccer, but I did have a part in it. I did have a part.
Well, it's important because with regards to college, the Title IX, you have to be...
Well, and that was when the whole Title IX thing was coming in at the same time. So, and I have a daughter who plays soccer, so you know, I'm a fan of the women's soccer game.
Is she like Dad, a midfielder, or did she?
She's a midfielder. Yeah. It's not as good as me, but she's okay.
Well, then, what's it like over the dinner table? I mean, are we...
So my son is, he's at Wheaton College. He's a soccer player up there.
Now, is that Wheaton in Massachusetts?
Wheaton in Massachusetts, yeah.
Okay.
This weekend I got to drive up to St. Lawrence University. They're playing an NCAA game, so that's pretty exciting for him. So he plays, my daughter plays, she's a senior in high school right now. And I have a little guy, he's only 11, so he keeps me young, and he's playing in Yonkers right now, so... a lot of soccer.
Okay, but is everybody, anybody in goal? Anybody
no,
winger?
No goalkeepers, no. They're all
well, Sean, you're real...
they're all trying to take after their old man and play in midfield, so...
well, what is the key to midfield? I mean, really, look, when I played, it was called fullback, and the thing that was impressed upon me is you are the last line before that so what is the direction that you give to the midfielder who... Well, I'm the defense, and the guy who's scoring the goal is the wingers and the forwards. So what is this midfielder? What are you guys doing?
Look, every sport has offense and defense, and every player has to play both positions. Yeah. And the midfield player is basically the link between the two, the engine room of the team. That's what I like to call him. So.
Engine room of the team.
And I like to think that that's your better player, because that's where I played. So.
Is there any talk with regards to the kits at Concordia? Are you going to change, now that you're back, are you thinking of changing the kits at all, the colors and all? And we did have something in studio here, but...
Yeah, well, we did change a little bit. We got brand new uniforms this year, through, again, some of the connections of the old guys I knocked around with soccer-wise. I was able to get a good deal on uniforms, and we've changed it a little bit. But the school colours are blue and gold, or blue and yellow, and we've kind of stuck to that. Players love gear. They love T-shirts. They love jackets. So the more gear they get, the better. So I'm trying to, I'm sure if you come in as a freshman, by the time you leave, you should have plenty of gear.
Now, if people want to know more, they should go to ConcordiaClippers.com.
Correct.
And they can see your particular website and the men's soccer and catch up.
It's all there, and again, from when I started at Concordia, everything's on computer. Our sports information guy, the second the game is over, it's online. The video's online, the box score's online, down to the seconds, the amount of seconds that you played is online. It's marvelous to look at, and that's how I can follow my own son. I can follow him online. I can tell exactly how many minutes he played. I can tell how many shots he had. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I'm just curious, we're coming up to 30 seconds, but is there any trepidation? Because next year, I understand that Concordia's inked a deal with an internet company so that you're going to be able to stream.
Yes, yeah. So, we've played around with it a little bit for the last couple of years. We even have a TV mast set up at the field, and we have a real company now coming in, so you don't even have to come to the game. You can stay home and watch it on TV.
Well, more questions, viewers can get a hold of you at ConcordiaClippers.com and
absolutely,
chat with you
absolutely,
via the net.
anytime. It'd be a pleasure.
Well, Sean, thanks so much.
Thank you, John. No, thank you very much.
And this is John Vorperian saying thank you for sharing this time with us. Take care, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye for now.